Hey everybody, it's Frank here again. Welcome to the last section of my pilgrimage series. I can't remember whether this is part 4 or part 5. I think it's part 5. So here I stand. Behind me is the West Manchester Mall, or what's left of it, I should say. So West Manchester Mall opened in October of 1981, and it was the place to go if you lived in this side of York. I guess people from the other side of York came too. So this was a centralized location where most of us came to hang out, buy things, of course, and just enjoy life in the early 80s. So just to show you how the mall was structured at that time, to my left here, where the Kohl's is, was a department store called GB's. Sounds pretty silly today, but that was what it was called. That was here for a long time. That was like a Hills, more of a discount place. The other anchor store was in the reverse side of what's behind me. That would be Bon-Ton. And then there was a third anchor store way down that way at the end of the mall called Hess, which later became, I forget. By then the mall wasn't what it used to be, so I didn't care anymore. Anyway, on a Friday or Saturday night, you could find this place loaded with people. Us high school kids, junior high kids, whatever, came from all parts of this area. We had people from Shiloh, West York, Dover, York City, Central, all over the place, and the mall was full at nighttime. It was the place to go. And I don't want to sound too much like a Breakfast Club advertisement, but all types of people were here. The cool guys, the jocks, the nerds, the heads, everybody and anybody, the punk kids. We were all here together hanging out, buying stuff, eating, tons of good restaurants here, and playing in the arcade. And of course, for me, the 3 big places I went were the Aladdin's Castle Arcade, which was right here behind me, where the Regal Cinemas is now, in that entrance to the right when you first walked in. Everybody who was anybody knew when you came to the mall, you had to come in this entrance. There were several entrances. This was the cool entrance. Of course, you had to have your parents drop you off about a block away. You didn't want to be seen getting out of the car, like right in front of the mall. And of course, for me, the arcade, and then Camelot Music was a record store up here on this end of the mall near the GB. Spent a lot of time there. And We3 Records was over on that side, maybe about 3/4 of the way down on the reverse side of the mall, which was incidentally where I had my first job. First job ever I had was at We3 Records. Most people think my first job was the theater. Now you know something new about Frank, so there you go. So you can see this mall is a shadow of what it used to be. We're here, it is a weeknight, but there's hardly anybody here. This mall was full when it opened, every night. And so many stores, so many different places to eat, clothing stores, shoe stores, every and any kind of restaurant you can imagine, plus the record stores and of course the department stores that I already mentioned. Of course, walk-through malls are now a thing of the past, most places. Some have kind of a hybrid model like Park City, but that's not something that you see anymore. That died out about 15 years ago. But this was a really special time for me. The mall had a certain smell to it and just a certain feel to it when you'd walk in, especially when it was brand new. And there's nothing like to walk in that arcade and hear the sound of the pinball machines and the video game sounds and checking out all the new games and stuff, or going to the record store and seeing all the new released records. Maybe that was just a Frank and Buddy thing, but I think most people like that stuff. But again, these are shadows of things that have long passed to sound much like a Christmas carol. And Christmas was a special time at the mall too, by the way. It got really, really busy here. It was fun to work here during that period as well, for those that did. Because a lot of my friends worked in the mall. I worked at the record store. My buddy Rick worked at McDonald's and the Gap later, and a bunch of other folks I knew worked at various stores around the mall either. So anyway, so ends my pilgrimage through the major places and events of my childhood. I didn't take you to my childhood home because that probably wouldn't be of interest to too many people. So I'm going to leave that right there. That's going to be the end of the pilgrimage series, and we're going to move on to something else for my next video set. But thank you all for being with me today and for following me on this journey into my past, and hopefully pieces of it that remind you of your past. So take care, and I'll talk to you soon.